Hey, it's Ebony, this is Replay, and I'm going to be listening to Kanye West, Donda. I've been a diehard fan of Kanye since I was like 9 years old. I think he's the reason that I love hip hop and rap so much. The first time I heard it was at the very first listening party, so it's changed pretty dramatically since then, but I've probably listened to it twice since it first dropped. Obviously, people who know Kanye know that he drags an album release. The first time we were listening, nobody knew what the features were going to be. Nobody knew what to expect with the sound. It was an empty stadium. He hadn't really prefaced what the sound was going to be. Everyone just sat and listened, and it was such a beautiful experience. I know that sounds dramatic, and I know there's people who hate Kanye and who are going to be in the comments being like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous and the rollout was self-indulgent. But I literally left feeling so emotional. I actually didn't even think it was going to drop. I was like, this is an elaborate stunt. We're not even going to get the full album. For it to actually drop, I kind of am a bit sad. Like, I'm a bit like, well, what happens now? Now it's done. There are a lot of references about his spirituality, his Christianity. He's also gone through his divorce with Kim Kardashian. We've seen him deal with his mental health in the media. Donda is actually named after his mum, who passed away in 2007. We've seen his relationship break down, in particular with Jay-Z. I think that's a really important thing to preface this with. First song is called Donda Chant.
Donda, 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 donda.
So you get the idea. It's basically just repeating the word over and over again. Selena Johnson is the person whose vocal you can hear, and she was also the vocalist on Kanye's All Falls Down. The way that I see this is like, you know when you say a word so much that you start to forget what it even means, what it sounds like. Like you might be spelling something out or saying like Donda, it doesn't even make sense anymore. Like you're saying it that much. That's sort of what this is.
Donda. Donda.
Okay, a bit disarming. That's the first track. Cool. In the very first listening party, this was the track that ended the entire thing. And I think this is my favorite track in the entire album. Yeah, I think it's actually perfect. Here's why, because I can see the shocked look on your face. The production is incredible. What other rappers do you know that have the guitar that sounds like this? Kind of reminds me of Kid Cudi. Yeah, Mike Dean worked on this, 88 Keys, Kanye. It sort of has a hell of a life feel. There's another reason why this song is so special, and I'll get into that in a second. The guitar is so sick. Because he's obviously a Christian, he has priors as in he has sinned before. Guess who's going to jail tonight? And then he talks about getting bailed out by God, because no matter what he does, God has his back, God's gonna save him, God's gonna get him out. One of the opening lines in his song, 4 5 Seconds, if I go to jail tonight, promise you'll pay my bail. And he's talking about her, like he's talking about like his wife always bailing him out, always having his back. And now it's sort of switched up. Obviously their marriage has broken down. Now he's kind of using the same metaphor of like going to jail, being bailed out, but instead he's turning to God, which I think is kind of interesting. Like,
God in myself.
When you're at the first listening party, you have no idea what features are going to jump on. They've ended with this song. To hear Jay-Z was crazy. Jay-Z was his mentor. He was like there for him when he was first starting out. We've seen them make Watch the Throne. It's one of the most incredible rap albums of our generation and period. Like, it's incredible. Then we slowly saw the relationship break down. The VMAs thing happened. Then we saw that Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't attend Kim and Kanye's wedding. Jay-Z on his album 444 literally dissed Kanye out in public. Kanye then went on stage like this and said stuff about Jay-Z. He was super hurt. He's openly said it in interviews. But then to hear Jay-Z come in at the end was so beautiful, and his verse is so emotional. It's like, okay, well, at least he's got his friend back.
This might be the return of the throne.
This might be the return of the throne. This is huge. Like, for hip-hop fans, like, Watch the Throne this might be the return. Like, are we getting another album? Are they back together? Like, this is huge. This is crazy.
Over and Jesus, like Moses and Jesus.
Over and Jesus, like Moses and Jesus.
Pieces, for you actually already told you who you think he is.
Kanye has this notorious interview that he does with Zane Lowe. He's talking about his song, I Am a God, and he's like, yeah, people ask me, who do I think I am? I already told you, I think I'm a God. I kind of wish that last bit went for like 2 minutes longer. I did think it was a perfect song. Then I looked at who had writing credits on it, and Marilyn Manson is one of the people who wrote the song. It does taint the song a little bit for me. It was jarring to hear that, like, you've made this gospel album. Why have you got someone who identifies as a Satanist writing on it? Like, it kind of doesn't make sense. It's kind of it's a bit weird, you know? And yeah, of course, Christianity is about, you know, forgiveness and love and this and that. So you can sort of try and justify it in that respect. But I actually read online someone being like, if Donda saw Marilyn Manson on her porch because they recreated Kanye's childhood home, and they said if Donda saw Marilyn Manson on her porch, she probably would have said to get the fuck out of there. This is an artist called Vory. I think he's from Houston from memory, but he's worked on the Jay-Z and Beyonce joint album, The Carters. He's kind of like a Bryson Tiller, like very R&B. It's super Yeezus.
Got the Father Like Maury.
Father Like Maury, remember that show? Love that show. It's a gospel song, essentially, with crazy production, Yeezus sounding production.
I know God breathed on this.
It's beautiful. The production's beautiful. The chorus is beautiful. It's not my favorite, but I get it. Like, okay, cool. This track is super hard. Before this album dropped, his name's Justin the Boy. He was able to hear Kanye's album before everyone else, and he tweeted out saying that it was like Kanye was like a hungry rapper again. It was like he was starving and his bars were super heavy. I think this is the track he must have been talking about when he said this, because it's super hard. I hate the chorus of this. I think it could have been so much better. But the verse is hard. The verse is hard. The verse.
Everything we did for the
The Playboi Carti, super contentious. People either love Carti or just don't really get around it. That's a lie, because I'm kind of in the middle. Sometimes he slaps, sometimes he's like a bit useless. I literally named my dog after Playboi Carti. Hard. I don't want to say he carries the song, because Kanye's verse is sick as well, but way harder than the Carti verse. The 808s in this are sick. Something to note about the album is because Kanye came out and said he's not making secular music, he isn't allowing any swearing in any of his albums moving forward. There are moments where the other rappers have sworn and we can't hear the swear words, and we'll never get the explicit version, which is kind of annoying.
No, I'm not doing no interview. Mask on my face, you can't see what I'm finna do.
Mask on my face, you can't see what I'm finna do. This is so funny. I was talking to my little brother about this because my brother's super into fashion, and Kanye's sort of like now the face of Margiela. He's always rocking the Margiela mask. The funny thing about that is Margiela intended for the mask to actually represent, like on the runway, that the clothes can be worn by anyone. Like, it's unisex, it fits into anyone's wardrobe. So now that Kanye is actually the face of the mask, and it's someone who is like extremely rich, and like, I think that's really funny and a little bit ironic.
I just bought a floor out of Selfridges.
I just bought a floor out of Selfridges. If you know what that is, that's crazy.
I talk to God every day. That's my bestie.
It's my favorite line. I think of the whole thing. I talk to God every day. That's my bestie. I love that so much. The topic of religion can be a bit alienating. It's a bit weird. And I grew up as a Christian, so I know religion is a heavy topic for a lot of people. There's this idea of God, that God is someone that should be feared and someone who is vengeful and intimidating. It should be like it's your bestie. It should be like talking to your best friend. Like, I'll talk to God and be like, man, so-and-so annoyed the hell out of me today. Like, it's straight up like I talk to my best friend. So I love that line. Like, I think it's sick. He's not like the most sinless person in the world. So the fact that he's like, yeah, I talk to God every day, that's my bestie. I think it actually makes religion seem more accessible. I like that. I think it's cool. I think it's hilarious, that line.
I think I see Messi. We off the grid. This for my kid. Cause a black man never shares red.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I hate the chorus. Straight up, I hate the chorus. But Kanye's verse in that is hard. Like, I haven't heard Kanye rap like that in a long time. I think that's sick. When Kanye told us about Yandy like a year and a half ago, a bunch of tracks leaked. I fell in love with that original leak. I thought it was so beautiful and so sick. It's obviously changed drastically since then. I mean, we had 3 listening parties. We've had a year since then for him to revise it. The Weeknd did an interview with GQ and they asked him, who do you want to collaborate with again? And The Weeknd said, Kanye West. Kanye literally texted him. Next thing we know, The Weeknd's vocals are on the track. So it's called Hurricane. It also has a Lil Baby on this. Look, first time I heard it, I was a little bit like, nah, it's The Weeknd. Like, it feels a little bit like, okay, we want something for the radio, this will do it, people will lap this up. But I did actually hear it on Triple J really loud and it was beautiful. It actually is quite beautiful.
See this in 3D. I know you want. Yeah, walking on the bridge, I threw rain down the rain.
This sort of sounds a little bit the Life of Pablo, the production to me.
Yeah, I know you want.
Beautiful. Praise God, this is one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's super sick. Features Travis Scott and Baby Keem, who, if you're not across, you should be because he's sick, but it's Kendrick Lamar's cousin. And this is actually Donda. This is Kanye's mum. Kicks off with.
Speech. It cannot always be night.
Sir, flex I do work. Work 6 of like Mike.
Sick. This is very like Days Before Rodeo, like Travis' original sound. He also uses the old school like La Flame ad-lib, which is so hard. Sounds like a heavy trap song. He's still talking about God. It's literally called Praise God.
Praise God, walking out the graveyard, back Tame Impala.
Tame Impala shout out, hard.
Just to throw out my Uncle Spaghetti.
My Uncle Spaghetti, Eminem reference. Hard. That's one of my favorite tracks off the whole album. I think that's so sick. We're getting a bit emotional again.
Like who's there when I need a shoulder to lean on?
So basically this track, they've used a sample and reversed it, and all of the verses are kind of like talking about the past, talking about people that they've lost. Lil Durk's verse is super raw and vulnerable. He lost his brother a couple of months ago in a shooting, so it was super heavy. It almost has like a nostalgic feel as well with that sample. It kind of skips. It kind of feels like a record or something playing like a... And Vory's voice sounds incredible on this one. Next track is Okay Okay. It has Fivio and Lil Yachty on it, and it's produced by Boy Wonder, who works with Drake a lot, so you might hear that influence.
Okay, I'm not okay. Think the good is not okay.
People have sort of speculated that this might be a diss to Drake. Obviously, they've had a little beef. You might have read about it. There's a lot. If you haven't, go and read about it because I'm not going to get into it. All you rappers sound like me. Kanye is easily one of the most influential rappers, period. Like, Drake's spoken in interviews about being influenced by Kanye. So people are saying, could be a Drake diss.
Who said I did what it...
Look, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I think Lil Yachty makes bangers. Sometimes I think he's kind of average. This verse, it doesn't really do much for me. But the sick thing about Lil Yachty being on this is kind of a full circle moment, because before Lil Yachty was Lil Yachty and the rapper that everybody knows today, he was actually a model, and he kind of got his first big break in Kanye's fashion show. I think it was Yeezy season 3, how he was just sort of lingering in the background, and he came up to one of the directors and said, "Don't you think my braids are cool? It matches the outfit. Like, shouldn't I be up the front?" And then he got put up the front, and from there skyrocketed in the fashion industry, and people started taking notice of him as a rapper. So I think that's the coolest part about having him on this. I don't really care for his verse that much, but that's cool.
Thank God, but it's too late.
I think that's the better chorus out of the 2 Fivio foreign tracks. I know a lot of people really love that Rooga verse. I'm kind of indifferent. I'm not super across his stuff, so it was cool. I thought it was cool. I didn't think it was a standout for me. Okay, next track, Junya. Sick track, features Playboi Carti.
Junya Watanabe on my...
Junya Watanabe is a Japanese designer. He's saying Junya Watanabe on my wrist. I don't know if he makes watches or if it's just like a bracelet or something. I'm not 100% sure. He worked under Rei Kawakabu, who is the person who founded Comme des Garçons.
Junya Watanabe on my... Tell him this. did he miss? Let me be honest. I went with the Bucks, boy. Let me be honest. I went with the Bucks, boy. Why can't losers never lose in peace?
Why can't losers ever lose in peace?
Better find, go to sleep.
Okay. Next track is Believe What I Say. This to me is one of the highlights of the album, and this is a peak. Like, we've gone through the gospel stage, the songs have been a bit slow. It's more upbeat. He samples Lauryn Hill, that thing, doo-wop, banger. Already so good.
You need something unexpected.
Like that bass line just carries you like.
No, too many family secrets, somebody passing notes.
Too many family secrets, somebody passing notes. I'm 2012. He gave his cousin a laptop just out of the goodness of his heart, and he had a sex tape on the laptop. And the cousin, instead of just being a G about it and deleting it, blackmailed Kanye and said, if you don't give me $25,000, I'm gonna spread this sex tape around. Yeah, he literally got extorted by his cousin. That made him question a lot of people's relationships with him and worry about trust with people. So I don't know, that could be in reference to that. Now this is Buju Banton, which is sick. If you know who this is, I grew up on this sort of stuff. I wish he was like singing and doing a bit more, but like still the Lauryn Hill sample with this is really cool. Definitely a highlight for me. It's beautiful. He was doing a bunch of Sunday services where they were essentially listening parties, but also like a church service, and he had a choir that sung all the songs. It was really, really beautiful. Anyway, he has got them on this album and they feature in this. So that's the chorus you're gonna hear. Certain songs hit different when you're in different frames of mind, obviously. Maybe if I was feeling really overwhelmed with being in lockdown right now, and if you're kind of just in the mood to listen to a rap track, this isn't gonna be the one. But if you're feeling emotional, you're feeling some type of way, and you need to be comforted by something beautiful and wholesome, then this is the track that you're gonna put on. He's basically saying, we're gonna be okay, everything's cool. It's a little bit Bob Marley, don't worry about a thing type energy, you know? It's that sort of track that you put on. I'm pretty sure there was another version of this with Kid Cudi on it, which I think would have been incredible. That's okay. Also speculation that Soulja Boy was supposed to make an appearance on this. He tweeted about it. I never heard that version. Who knows? I would actually like to hear that version. But anyway, this has Young Thug on it. This is very like 808s to me. It kind of reminds me of RoboCop and like Paranoid. It's that sort of production loosely.
Please don't ask again. Who's up in the van? Added on remote control.
I've seen a lot of people say that they don't really rate this song. I actually think it's very cool. It's very 808s. And that whistle in the back, that whistle is sick. I actually love this song. The more I hear it, the more I'm like, nah, this is hard. Young Thug's verse, he just slides in. It feels effortless. Yeah, this is sick. I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album. The more I hear it, the more I'm like, okay, this is cool. So Kanye's known for kind of taking the piss sometimes. He put out Lift Yourself and did the scoopity poop thing. We all remember that. There was a YouTuber after the first listening party who went out and trolled everyone and was like, hey, so I've got a leaked version of Donda. Went through the track list and just played nonsense, like just played like kids songs and stuff. And this is like a Christian cartoon or something, and this is the song from it, but the YouTuber used this as a reference to one of the leaked Donda tracks, so that's why that's in there. All right, next track is Moon, Don Toliver and Kid Cudi. Absolute dream collaboration for me. I think Don Toliver has one of the most gorgeous voices. Kid Cudi is one of my favorite artists, period, and Kanye is as well. So this track is pretty close to perfection as far as I'm concerned. So beautiful. All Kid Cudi has to do is like hum. Incredible.
I'm ashamed, hated what I was seeing.
It's gorgeous. This song is beautiful. Woo! So beautiful. Why was that so short? It's so annoying. The next track, Heaven and Hell only goes for 2 minutes and 24 seconds as well. Another one of my favorite tracks that could have gone on for 7 minutes. Like, this is so sick. The track's called Heaven and Hell, and the sample that's used is Heaven and Hell Is on Earth by the 20th Century Steel Band. You might also recognize it from J-Lo's Jenny from the Block. This is testament to the fact that Kanye West is one of the greatest artists, period. The production, crazy. Be fooled by the rocks that I got. Switched it up.
Pray now, hold up, no peace.
You have to listen to this with proper speakers. This is incredible. So sick. That could have gone for another at least 3 minutes. That was sick. The production at the end there is so cool. Next track is called Donda. It features a speech that Kanye's mum did. I'm pretty sure at a university. She was like an English professor, and this is taken from a speech she did like pretty close to before she passed away. And it also, surprisingly, features vocals from Ariana Grande, if you listen very closely. So, Donda.
Forever. Can you hear me?
I thank you so much for your support of me.
It's the kingdom.
It features the Sunday Service Choir again.
And the glory.
And why Kanye ain't scared.
Keep My Spirit Alive is next.
Keep my spirit alive.
It's beautiful. He's got a beautiful voice. So this is an artist who's pretty low key. Yeah, I think this is like the first taste of Kanye being like, this is someone you need to be across. This is someone who you should know. Such a cool, unique voice, like a beautiful voice.
All my life, yeah.
Mama prayed for me, said she left it in God's hands.
We're starting to see a lot of like the old Kanye, for lack of a better description. Yeah, it's pretty emotional. I'm feeling not heavy, but yeah, a little bit heavy, to be honest with you. Not in a bad way though, not in a bad way. All right, Jesus Lord is next. Jay Electronica makes a huge appearance on this one. Goes for almost 9 minutes. That's crazy.
Tell me if you know someone that needs Jesus.
Oh, it is pretty beautiful though. I remember this from the listening party and I was like, oh, this is really beautiful.
Just reaching for the stars like Buzz Lightyear, and now I'm light years ahead of those nightmares.
So he's just being super vulnerable. He's talking about all he's gone through. He's talking about drugs, losing his mum. He's been lost, how he's like come to search for God again and form a relationship with God. It's pretty deep, like it's pretty heavy. The chorus is saying, tell me someone who needs Jesus, you know? Tell me someone who needs like God and going through a lot of things.
In the name of the true and living God, the beneficent, the merciful, thank you for bringing me up the rough side of the mountain like earth through.
That was heavy. Woo! Bars.
If my father's intentions were to lead us to death, destruction, and to the hell that he has had to live in for the past 26 years, man, he would be dead.
Wow. Kanye was working really closely with Donald Trump so that he could help people. And one of the things he was sort of doing was bringing like these legal cases to him to get people pardoned. And this is the guy, this is Larry Hoover Jr. talking about his father, who was a former leader of a street gang in Chicago, which is where Kanye grew up. He's basically thanking Kanye for taking his father's case to the president at the time, Donald Trump, and, you know, pleading for like a pardon, I suppose.
My father, Mr. Larry Hoover Sr.
Beautiful production. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay. New Again featuring Chris Brown. Contentious. When the final version of the album dropped, Chris Brown was carrying on Instagram and dissed Kanye in his story because he got cut from the album. He's still on it, but he's not on it for as long as he thought he was gonna be. So this is New Again.
If I hit you high with a bunch of
Eyes were hey with a bunch of wise. I love that line. He's basically like, if I message you and you hit me back on like hi, like uninterested, like hey, no, like hit me back with some energy, like give me a bunch of eyes or a bunch of. I love that. Keep that energy. That's exactly how I feel.
Never let nobody curve me that don't deserve me.
That's also hilarious. Never let nobody curve me that don't deserve me. Mood, energy. That's the motto. I love that.
You know you never live up to my ex though. If we die.
Woo! is to lay me or play me a bigger flex though, because you'll know you never live up to my ex though. That's hilarious. One of my favorite things about Kanye is his sense of humor. So that's literally Chris Brown's feature. I think it was obviously supposed to go for longer because he called Kanye a hoe on his story. He was like, Kanye West is a hoe because he took him off. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Is Kanye trying to make a statement or is he just being provocative like he always does? So other radio stations and stuff still play him. I know a lot of DJs that still play his stuff. I personally don't, so I won't be playing this in my sets anytime soon. Kanye's basically stripped off his and Pusha T's verse and made this sort of like a tribute to Pop Smoke, who of course passed away, R.I.P. I think this is sick. I know a lot of people are kind of like, why would you keep this on? It goes for 1:44. It's kind of like an interlude. I think the first time I heard it, I was so G'd up. I was like, I think it's special. That beat is crazy. Like he's kind of flipped the beat a little bit. He's edited the beat a little bit. And Pop Smoke was notorious. He said in like interviews that he didn't want to collaborate with people he didn't really F with. So, I mean, you look at his album and there's 50 million collaborations. He's got like a Dua Lipa feature, which is kind of weird. The song bangs, but like, I actually think Kanye is someone that Pop Smoke would have wanted to collaborate with. So I like this a lot. Especially at the listening party, that was really special to hear Pop Smoke, you know? I think that was sick. Sounds like old Kanye. This is a little graduation, late registration-y feeling. So this whole song is basically about him and Kim Kardashian and their relationship breaking down. It's pretty sad, to be honest.
You know you'll always be my favorite prom queen.
That's cute, because he made a reference to her, like a prom reference in Bound 2, where she's obviously in the film clip.
The best collab since Taco Bell and KFC.
Best collab since, oh, I can't say brands, but that was a really funny line.
I don't know what I would do without me.
Hilarious line. Kanye's always said that, like, fans of Kanye are fans of themselves because he's so into self-love.
Billionaires, I guess that's why they call it cussing.
So there is speculation that they're trying to work things out and get back together. Whatever. They have kept their whole breakdown so respectful. They've never really come out and like talk trash about each other. I think that they like always keep their children at the forefront of their mind and they're always super respectful of that. I think that it's cool that they're able to keep it cordial and civil, you know? Okay, next track, Pure Souls with Roddy Ricch.
Like change when you famous. I remember back before the change, we was nameless. I say the truth is only what you get away with, huh? Hey,
Roddy Ricch sounds great on this. He actually sounds really good.
Cold, every cousin that stole, every summer was cold.
Every cousin that stole, that's the reference to the cousin that stole the laptop. Hectic.
The truth is only what you get away with, huh? Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is Shenseea, who is like a Jamaican artist. She's really sick. This is actually a very cool collaboration and kind of unexpected, but her voice is incredible. He hasn't done a whole bunch of collaborations with dancehall and Afrobeats artists. Like you can see Drake is very heavily influenced by that sound, but Kanye has kind of just stayed more in like the trap lane. So this is very cool. I think this is sick. Stayed in the trap lane in terms of people who he's collabed with, by the way. All right, next track, Come to Life.
My soul cries out, hallelujah.
Don't wanna die alone. I don't wanna die alone.
Oh, that's sad. Like he's getting into this is hectic.
Man, when she gone. Man, when she home.
When people are at their darkest is when they tend to turn to God. You know, he's going through it for real. Like, yeah, you can hear it. He's being super vulnerable.
They could finally come to life.
That piano is so beautiful. One of my friends, Tommy, described it as sounding like the piano was crying. I think it's so beautiful.
Brought a gift to Northie. All she want was Nikes.
Woo! Brought a gift to Northie, so his daughter North. And all she wanted was Nikes, which is literally his direct competitor. Whew! Emotional. I think that is really beautiful. I think it's cripplingly vulnerable. I loved the way that he ordered the album in the first listening party because you went through all of these emotions, but then you had the Jay-Z verse to make you feel better. Whereas this is just like, you can hear how much he's going through. And like, when you love an artist in the way that a lot of Kanye fans love Kanye, you feel that for real, you know? Like, you feel like he's really going through it. You feel it emotionally. To loop back around, it's like, okay, it's a gospel album. Like, he's always gonna have God, he's always gonna be okay. The second listening party, this song played and Kanye was literally lifted into the sky.
No child left behind. Always count on God.
I remember hearing this at the listening party and I thought it was so funny. It's quite serious, like don't get me wrong, this is an incredibly beautiful song and it's actually very serious, but the line, never count on you, I'll always count on God, saying it like in a cheeky way is actually really funny. Okay, beautiful. That was like, that was a lot. I feel like I just need a second to just, wow, an experience. Okay, that's what I think was so special about all of these listening parties. I know people were like, it was drawn out, it was performative, it was self-indulgent. Yes, it was all of those things. But you can't recreate the first time that you heard all of these songs and didn't know it was coming and didn't know what to expect. And there was something so special about experiencing that for the first time with people from all over the world, you know? As far as I'm concerned, the album ends there. It should have ended there. Mike Dean, who is like longtime collaborator of Kanye, he's a incredible producer. He was on forums getting feedback, bringing it to Kanye. Kanye just revised so many of these songs and he was, in the end, was just like, whatever, chuck them all on. It's already an incredibly long album, so to add in 1, 2, 3, 4 extra part 2s is doing a lot. Jail Part 2 straight up does not need to exist as far as I'm concerned. We've obviously seen DaBaby get in trouble recently. He's made homophobic remarks that are like just totally ignorant, basically. So for Kanye to come out in the last listening party with him at Marilyn Manson as some sort of like contentious stand against cancel culture or whatever, I didn't get it and I didn't really agree with it. I haven't even listened to this, to be completely honest. Do I have to listen to it? I literally don't think it should be on the album. Yeah, I literally just think that it was like an unnecessary addition to the album. If you want to check it out, you can. So instead of Jay-Z, we have DaBaby, who's rapping off beat as usual, and like, it's just so unnecessary. Like, it was just such an unnecessary addition. The reason Kanye says that he kept DaBaby on, which is hilarious, is because when Kanye was running for presidency, DaBaby was one of the only people who openly said that he would vote for him. So,
Good, is that okay? Okay.
This might be better than the first Okay Okay. I kind of prefer this than the Lil Yachty verse.
Okay. Get good, get out the way.
Gives it a completely different vibe.
Play along, watch how them a sing my song. Suddenly them turn a fan. Single, me broke up with my ex, him dead to me, I'm a widow.
That was hard, actually. I actually, for the first time, understand the part 2. I actually prefer this version. I think she killed that, and I think it's like a really, really cool, different take on that whole song. It changes the whole vibe of it. I think that's really cool. So this is the track with Playboi Carti. It also has Dolla Sign in this version.
Junya watching I be on my woo.
Look, Dolla Sign is really, really sick. I think he's an incredible artist and he's gorgeous. He's really good looking. But I don't think he added that much to the song, I'll be honest. Okay, okay, I do prefer the part 2 of that. I don't know if these needed to be added into the album though. I don't think it was that revolutionary. Oh my God, this goes for 11 minutes 30. Jesus is Lord Part 2 goes for 11 minutes and 30 seconds. I've never listened to this one. I haven't listened to the part 2.
Brown, if you ain't loyal, you from a different soil.
Outweigh my bad days. I don't count the money, I just know how much the bad.
Jadakiss sounds good on this. I'll give him that.
Ain't no iron team, it's an iron win. Some VM dies.
So this is Styles P now. They've added in this verse as well.
I am feeling rage on the inside.
Whew. So that adds what? And that's like an extra 5 minutes on there. The Jada Kiss verse was hard, but did we need that?
Deserves to breathe free air. Free my.
Whew. All right, there we go. The whole 1 hour, what is it, 48 minutes. Oh my gosh, this is hard, dude. Favorite tracks up from the top. Jail, definitely. Praise God. This is like a very narrowed down list because there are more that I could add to this. Junya, Believe What I Say. I really like Remote Control. Moon, Heaven and Hell. Television, and No Child Left Behind. Also Come to Life. I really do like Come to Life. The piano is beautiful. Sorry, I really like this album. Obviously, I really like this album. I think there are a lot of beautiful moments. Kanye's like very known for changing his album covers over and over and over again. We got a couple different previews for Donda. It's dropped and we've just got like this black album cover. It's just like a black square. And my friend Tommy had a really sick, maybe he read it somewhere, I'm not sure, that this is sort of to do with the Black Lives Matter movement when everyone a couple of months ago was posting these black tiles to bring awareness to the Black Lives Matter movement. So how do I think this album compares to his other stuff? It's like a very grown-up Kanye. It's a combination of 808s, you know, where he had just lost his mother, he was going through another breakup, he was in his feelings, with Yeezus, where he's exploring these new sounds, he's doing stuff that other people aren't really doing production-wise. And Jesus is King, where he came out and said, I'm not gonna swear in my music anymore. I'm not gonna be making secular music. And he stuck to it. Like, whether we like it or not, that's what he stuck to. It's a pretty final sound. I think it fits together pretty nicely. I think that the amount of features that are on it is probably only Kanye West could pull off something like that. To be able to hear Kanye talk about, you know, he's bipolar, to talk about the marriage breakdown with Kim, to talk about the death of his mother and his friendship with Jay-Z and how he feels about all these things in his own way, I think is really special. I think it's really cool. And I think this is the sickest album we have gotten since Yeezus, maybe. I love Yeezus. I know that's a bit contentious, whatever, but I have enjoyed this a lot. I was really looking forward to listening to the album in full, but hearing it on my phone speaker doesn't quite hit the same. And I have been sitting here for hours, so I'm pretty stoked to wrap it up now. I'm pretty stoked to wrap up.